Like many people, I'm digesting the news from last night, trying to understand whether or not there's been a ceasefire in the war between Iran and Israel and the United States, which I very much hope there is a ceasefire. But what I want to do a bit is zoom out and ask whether this war was worth it. This was a war that was nominally fought for non-proliferation, for degrading, seriously setting back, denying Iran the capability to build nuclear weapons. And my great fear is it's failed on these terms. Many Iranian facilities have been destroyed. But despite the success of strikes against the fixed facilities we know about, Iran, I think, still has a triad of capabilities. It has highly enriched uranium, it has centrifuge components, and it has expertise. Over the last 48 hours or so, it's come out that Iran removed several bombs worth of highly enriched uranium from monitored facilities just before hostilities began. We don't know where this highly enriched uranium is. Moreover, Iran has a large stockpile of centrifuge components. When the Obama-era JCPOA, the Iran deal, was in place, those components were under IAEA monitoring. They no longer are, and it's very unlikely that those small, easy-to-move components have been destroyed. And finally, while Israel has targeted some Iranian scientists, the vast majority of scientists and technicians have survived those strikes. The net effect is that with these experts and technicians, centrifuge components, and highly enriched uranium, Iran can probably, within a year or so, if not quicker, I would estimate, rebuild its enrichment capabilities, further enrich its highly enriched uranium to the level needed for a nuclear weapon, finish conducting the research and development necessary to build a weapon, and actually do so. People respond, well, can't we just attack Iran's nuclear facilities again? And that's true, you could do if you know about it. But it seems to me a pretty catastrophic outcome that we're now in a situation where to prevent Iran from getting the bomb, we have to be bombing it every year or so. And we also shouldn't assume that military action is always going to be successful. Intelligence is never perfect. Iran can dig deeper into facilities that are beyond the reach of the United States. So this war that was fought for counter-proliferation, for non-proliferation, I think is very likely to prove a failure in its own terms. Let me end with this thought. Over the weekend, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel had set back Iranian efforts by 2 to 3 years, and he painted this as a huge success. Yet 10 years ago, speaking before Congress, he criticized the JCPOA, the Iran deal, on the grounds that its limit only lasted a decade, which wasn't quite true, by the way. So he's really judging military action here on a curve. 10 years ago, he said a decade was the blink of an eye. Now he declares success because in his view, his overly optimistic view, he set an Iranian bomb program back by 2 to 3 years. That's not a success in my book.